Hey guys, this is Camfrey15, and I'm back at it with another video for you guys. And this is another Flash episode review, so let's get into this Flash episode. So this Flash episode was kind of it was an alright episode in my book. It was kind of just, one of those filler episodes. Things really didn't really get into the only thing that's kind of picked up this episode was really the Barry and Iris scenes, and then really, especially that ending. So yeah, this episode was alright, but it's one of those Flash episodes that you don't have to really give a crap about. But anyways, we're here with Flash. I believe it was episode 12. It's either 11 or 12, I believe. Hold on a second. Okay, back. It's actually Flash episode 11. So, anyways, we're season 6, episode 11. So, anyways, the episode starts off, if you do not remember, the episode starts off with Iris looking like she is looks like she's out of the mirror, and she looks fine. She looks around, and she essentially goes away. So, we all know Iris got taken into the mirror, and now this Iris has come out. So essentially, the following morning, Iris makes Barry breakfast, and Barry is like, "This is weird. This is really good," because we all know that Iris wasn't the best at making pancakes and breakfast as a whole, and he gets kind of suspicious about Iris. So yeah, then it later cuts to Killer Frost and Allegra, and I'm just gonna wrap up this side plot. This side plot was kind of a really boring side plot, to be honest. I didn't really pay much attention to this side plot. Essentially, it was about Killer Frost and Allegra. Killer Frost. Essentially, her whole thing, this side plot, is that she feels like she blames herself. She blames herself essentially because she feels like, she feels like she messes up people's livelihoods and stuff like that, and makes people's lives worse. Now, her and Nash Wells have a talk about it and stuff like that. While on the side plot with that, going in tandem with that, Allegra, I guess, was trying to possibly hook up with her ex-boyfriend or start talking to her ex-boyfriend again. And, when Nash starts talking to, Killer Frost about it, and stuff like that, he kind of tells Killer Frost, like, maybe Allegra just sees too much black and white, some things that just, are clearly oppositely different. So, other than that, where it was just kind of a bland side plot and stuff like that. I kind of really didn't care for the Allegra / Killer Frost thing, because it was kind of a boring episode, and this is kind of what this episode was. It was kind of just meh. It's kind of an average, boring episode. It wasn't that good. It was like, it was one of those special, episodes and stuff like that. One of those holiday special episodes. This week's Valentine's Day, so they had a Valentine's Day episode. Anyways, getting back to the main point of the story, Iris and Barry have like an early Valentine's Day dinner night, or dinner date, and, when Barry also gets more suspicious and like shocked in the standpoint when the waiter asks her something. Iris repeats to the waiter something in Italian. He's like, "I didn't know you speak Italian," and she's like, "Well, I learned all sorts of different things, huh?" And then all of a sudden, we get the return of Amulet Black, and she robs the restaurant, for some item, that was held at the restaurant, and essentially Barry tries to confront her and stop her. And he's like, I'm CCPD or PD. You need to, turn yourself in. And she's like, "Well, I can't do that right now. How about you just let me walk out of here?" And, stuff like that. "But if you try to fight back, let's just say I'll expose your secret." So, finally, we're getting freaking, repercussions for Barry's actions for working with villains in the past, revealing identities to other people in the past, because, it's not like he's done it so many times. Honestly, at this point, any villain who gets a hold of his identity should just be like, "Well, guess what, buddy? let me do this, otherwise your identity is leaked. So essentially, Amulet Black tells him, like, if I ever catch you in your suit, I'm going to expose you as the Flash. So this kind of leaves Barry at a handicap. So yeah. Um. So, anyways, him, and Iris plan to essentially see where Amulet Black is hiding out at because she's literally off the grid and people can't find her. Even the police force come in and can't find her. Essentially, they have a plan. So Iris goes up to the bar where Amulet Black, I guess, goes to sometimes, and essentially it looks like she was gonna get basically jacked, and Barry was in her ear with a thing, with an earpiece in her ear, essentially telling her like, look, if you need help, just call me. Um, so essentially, essentially things get out of the haywire. Iris grabs a bottle and slams a bottle across this guy's head. This is when I was like, okay, hold up. When would Iris learn to do that? And even Barry, when she comes back, she's like, I'm fine. I just slammed a I slammed a bottle over a dude's head. And he's like, what? I'm like, this is not the Iris I knew. So, Iris is completely different and stuff like that. All of a sudden, they go to this area, this lab area. They find Amulet Black, like having some cylinder type of thing. And all of a sudden, we see the return of Goldface, who is the former boyfriend of Amulet Black. And we later find out that the two are arguing with each other, and I guess they recently broke up or something like that. Barry also does conclude that there's maybe a gang war going on between their two gangs. So, yeah. Anyways, they attack this bystander who works in the lab. Barry saves him, but in the time Barry saves him, Iris actually gets a hold of the item that Amulet Black and Goldface were fighting over. And essentially they go back to their apartment and they talk they talk more about it. Now this is when we got the heated stuff, like which was teased in the episode preview. And essentially, that Barry and Iris had a pretty heated argument. Morally, Iris felt like, I'm not your damsel in distress. Like, you gotta let me be me. I'm the one who's a reporter. I have my own team, Team Citizen, and stuff like that. And essentially, Iris was saying, like, look, you can't always be there to save me. She's like, and she makes some good points. Like, she's like, I was preparing for a whole, different, world without you. After Crisis and stuff like that. I was preparing for that. And, it later goes to Barry talking to, Joe, saying that they're kind of feeling off and off place and stuff like that. And it was like all kind of weird. And I'm like, oh my goodness, are we getting like maybe possible fights to which could lead to possible divorce? That would not be too good. And essentially, the reason why that argument even took place first was because Iris was like, let's draw these guys out. Let's give the Amulet Black the item she's looking for. Draw them out, and then we catch them in the act. And that's when Barry was like, no, I can't do that. That's putting you in danger. So essentially, Iris walks off. She finds Amulet Black's hideout, and it looks like Amulet Black is going to basically try to kill her. But Iris is like, come on, I'm having marriage problems right now. Look. Let's work together and stuff like that. I mean, he's giving you the item you want. Here we go. So, near the tail end of the episode, Goldface and Amulet Black have a little showdown and stuff like that. And, there's this, like, flower that makes the two... There's this flower that releases this dust that makes the two, like some kind of love potion. It gets them to... And they have, like, the angles coming back... They're thinking and talking like all psychiatrically, saying like all sorts of different things. Like essentially, they kind of confess their love to each other and then they kind of hook up or something like that. And yeah, then Barry and Iris saved the day. And yeah, so that was really it of this episode. Now the last part of this episode of the aspect is the Barry and Iris talk. And it looks like they both apologize for the issues. that they had in the argument, and then they're hugging each other. Next thing we know, the Iris looks into the mirror. We see our Iris stuck in that mirror saying, Barry, Barry, that's not me. That Iris is a fake. She's lying to you. You can't trust her. And that's when the episode cuts off. So obviously, this Iris is an imposter, and it's looking like this is like a different side of Iris. So it'd be very interesting if we see more arguments between Barry and this imposter Iris, which could possibly maybe lead to more fighting, which could lead to a possible, West Allen divorce, which would be insane. That would be a huge shock. And yeah, so that when I saw that, that piqued my interest. I was like, oh my goodness. So obviously, the Flash is 2-0 when it comes to crazy cliffhangers and stuff like that, leading to the next episode. Another thing I do got to point out, it looking like for the intro, they're going to keep the same long intro where it cuts from all the different characters you see in the show. I think that intro is the best intro it's the best intro they've had. I think personally it's the best intro of the CW DC TV shows, if you ask me. So yeah. This episode was meh. It was okay. It was average. Okay. Nothing really sleaze about. If I was you, yeah, you could watch this episode, but you really only want to stay for the Barry Iris moments, as well as the cliffhanger moment. I forgot what it looked like. There was a cliffhanger moment on Nash Wells. I actually turned away because I was watching the Clippers 76ers game and I wasn't paying attention to the screen. So I did not see what the heck Nash Wells. So if you guys know what Nash Wells was looking at or what he was shocked about, please put that in the comment section. But other than that, that's really it of this episode. Like I said, I thought this episode was it was average. It wasn't really good Flash episode. It was just kind of that, kind of filler holiday seasonal episode. The side plot was kind of bland and stupid and boring. The main plot, it was alright, but it didn't really pick up. So far, it is what it is. Right now, the cliffhanger really saved this episode, if you ask me, in my opinion. If we did not get this cliffhanger, I personally thought this was a pretty below average Flash episode for this week. But other than that, that's it. That's all I gotta say for this episode. Anyways, if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to hit that if you want to hit the comment section to get your thoughts on this week's episode of The Flash, put your comments down in the comment section, as well as hit the subscribe button to get more Flash content. I know I have been slacking on Supergirl reviews. One, it's because there was things going on Sunday for me that I could not find time in my schedule to watch Supergirl and review that. But whenever I have a free Saturday to review that, or free Sunday to review that, I will more than likely review that from wherever they leave off. I do know Supergirl is heating up and stuff like that, but yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. It's been fun. This is Cam 15, and I'm signing out. Peace.